You're watching First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW and live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for First Alert 7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and we're starting tonight tracking crime in Midland, where one person is in the hospital after they were shot while attempting to steal from a local smoke shop. The incident happened around 3:30 this afternoon, and witnesses at the smoke shop say that the customer placed about $130 worth of items on the counter next to the register before grabbing the items and trying to leave without paying. That's when one of the store's employees fired a gun at the customer. That employee is now in custody. And a 93-year-old man is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after driving his pickup truck off the Loop 250 overpass to Big Spring and hitting another vehicle on the street below. Midland police report that based on witness statements, the man may have had a medical emergency before driving off the highway. The driver of the vehicle that was hit was treated for minor injuries. And we're bringing you continuing coverage on Alex Bingham, the 25-year-old man that was hit and killed by a drunk driver in front of his home. His family is now suing 18-year-old Jose Contreras and the bar that he was drinking at. That's Twist Off Saloon here in Odessa. The family says that the bartenders need to be held accountable after not checking Contreras' ID while he was at the bar. Not long after leaving that bar, Contreras hit Bingham. 2 arrests have been made in this case, which the family says is the start of bringing them closure.
It would never bring their dad back, and it would never bring her husband back. But to know that those people who did this to him will be charged and will go to jail for what they did, it's starting to, will bring us closure in due season.
Last weekend, Alex's family held a candlelight vigil at Medical Center Hospital. Odessa police, along with members of the community, showed up in order to honor his life.
It felt nice, knowing I wasn't alone and knowing that all these people came forward to help us out through this time. And I'm just thankful for the love and everything that the community has shown towards us during this time.
If you're wanting to donate or show your support to the Bingham family, they're hosting a car wash tomorrow at Mr. Gaddy's from 3 to 6 in order to raise money for his wife and children. We're talking some election news now. Arizona voters have approved Prop 314. It's also known as the Secure the Border Act. It gives local and state authorities more power to arrest and book undocumented immigrants, a task that's previously been carried out by Border Patrol. Now, it's similar to Texas's own SB 4. Alexander Rangel from our sister station in Phoenix, Arizona, reports that police departments in border towns are preparing to enforce the immigration reform measure.
Crossing the border illegally in between ports of entry is a federal crime, but Proposition 314 will now make it a crime at the state level in Arizona as well, allowing local police to arrest migrants suspected of illegally entering Arizona through Mexico and giving state judges the power to order deportations.
We're not aiming at particularly sending units out there to be targeting or looking specifically for illegals.
Emmanuel Botello with the San Luis Police Department says their focus remains on serving the community. While supporters of the bill say it will help secure Arizona's border, Botello says it's a federal job that requires federal dollars.
We don't have additional resources coming in as a result of this. If anything, we're getting additional work, additional things to do, additional duties.
Police are also concerned it could lead to overcrowded jails.
To me, that's where the big problem is going to be, is the jails.
Chief Thomas Garrity with the Yuma Police Department agrees immigration should remain at the federal level, but says they've been preparing for the duties Prop 314 entails.
So we as the police department have to prepare to make sure that the policies and the training that we have in place is going to be fair, constitutional, and respectful to everyone.
Advocates against the bill warn it could lead to racial profiling. Garrity assures that won't be happening in Yuma.
We're not going to be asking people their immigration status that are victims or witnesses. It's hard. We're only going to be concentrating on the people who commit crimes.
Prop 314 is molded after a Texas law, SB 4, that is currently being reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court. Even though Arizona voters passed Prop 314, portions of the bill won't go into effect unless the Supreme Court rules the Texas bill is constitutional.
We will continue to prioritize and really, protecting life, protecting property of our residents will continue to be on the top of our priorities.
Now, if Texas SB 4 is ruled unlawful, then it's unclear what would happen to Prop 314 in Arizona. Back here in West Texas, we're going to take a look at your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Teeverteller. Tom?
Well, rather chilly conditions are on the way overnight tonight. We have a freeze warning up across the Davis Mountains into the portions of the Guadalupes, the Sierra Diablos, and western portions of Culberson County. And this extends on up into Eddy County, New Mexico, and northern Lee County, including Van Horn, Fort Davis, and Alpine. We could see temperatures as low as 32, so a light freeze. Be sure to take those freeze precautions overnight tonight. It was a cool day, topped out at 59 out at the Miller National Air and Spaceport. A little cooler up towards Andrews and the Seminole area, 52 at Hom. So you can see things were definitely different across the area behind that front that rolled through a little bit earlier. And we are going to be looking at chilly conditions in our forecast. After this evening, we're going to see those temperatures drop down into the lower 40s to upper 30s area wide. And then we'll be looking for a little bit of a change coming up for the weekend with a southwest wind helping push temperatures back up with a dry forecast.
Thank you, Tom. Let's talk some education news now. Odessa College has received a 2024 Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Star Award. Now, the Star Award is awarded to institutions that help create a talent-strong Texas and provide support for students that are pursuing higher education. About half of these programs are part of the Odessa College Cares initiative. This includes the First Class Free program, open educational resources, and financial aid for swift transfer funding, as well as the Wrangler Promise. These programs have saved Odessa College students over $8 million during the 2024 through 2025 academic year. They've also highlighted their Wrangler Food Pantry, which has helped nearly 2,000 students.
Financial survey to our students just to learn a little bit about our students and their financial backgrounds. And 45% of our students told us that their food's secure, and so they don't know where that next meal is coming from.
In addition to all of that, OC's also seen a 61% increase in student enrollment and a 128% increase in degrees and certificates that have been awarded in the past decade. Looking over in Lubbock, some elementary students had the opportunity to meet and learn from some of our nation's heroes. A group of veterans made a visit to Honey Elementary School today, and it was an opportunity for the young students to meet the brave men and women who've served our country, as well as gain an appreciation for their sacrifice.
We felt like this was a really important experience for them to have because they don't all have relatives or acquaintances that have served in the military, and so we thought this would be a great way for them to express their appreciation and to be able to make like a real life connection to people. Celebrating Veterans Day.
Because they fought for our country. We celebrate Veterans Day to thank people that fought for people that fought for our world and make us free.
It was also an inspiring day for some who hope to follow in these veterans' footsteps.
Okay. So Briggs has informed us that he wants to be a veteran. So what branch do you want to be in and why?
I want to be in the Army, and I just want to be in it so I can protect my country.
Veterans also visited other Lubbock ISD campuses today to spread the same message of bravery and patriotism. Speaking of our nation's heroes, Senior Life in Midland got a head start in celebrating Veterans Day today with their annual Veterans Luncheon. Guest speaker Garrett Kennedy from the Heart Healing nonprofit organization talked to the veterans, and a quilt of valor was presented by the Midland Quilters Guild.
Oftentimes, we as people don't even realize the sacrifice that they've made. And events like this to recognize them and thank them. And I wish we could do this all the time and not just one day a year.
There were about 35 veterans that participated in the luncheon, and door prizes were also given out. Senior Life in Midland will continue to celebrate Veterans Day on Monday, where they'll be delivering Texas Roadhouse meals to the homebound veteran seniors. Speaking of Veterans Day being next Monday, November 11th, we want to invite you to watch a First Alert 7 news special, Salute to Service, to learn more about West Texas veterans, their lives, and their service. Tune in on Monday, November 11th at 6:30 p.m. And the VFW Post 4372 is hosting its annual Veterans Day Parade tomorrow. The community is invited to downtown Odessa to watch the display and honor those who've served. It'll go down Texas Avenue from 17th Street to 9th Street, and it'll all start at 10 a.m. Our very own Armando Gomez will have a look at the parade during First Alert 7 News Weekend Edition. And the 41st Merry Marketplace is here. The Ector County Coliseum will be filled with decorations, gift items, food, and lots of holiday cheer. Tickets to get into the event are $10, and you can shop from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and from noon to 5 on Sunday. Plus, there will be a breakfast with Santa from 9 to 11:30 tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is National Lung Cancer Screening Day, and Midland Memorial Hospital is hosting lung cancer screenings at the Diagnostic Imaging Associates Legends Park. The hospital asks that you make an appointment and says that if you've smoked in the past 15 years or if you're 50 to 80 years old, you should consider getting screened for lung cancer. In some health headlines, after pausing some elective surgeries this week because of IV fluid shortages, Midland Memorial is starting those surgeries back up. They'll resume on Monday, November 11th, and if you had to reschedule a surgery, those will start on Monday, November 18th. And Odessa Regional Medical Center is now using cameras in its NICU to allow parents to watch their baby's care live streamed. Because the babies often can't be with parents in the NICU, the hospital says the cameras will help ease parents' stress and strengthen their bond with their newborns. Medical Center Hospital began using this kind of technology way back in 2022 that only authorized family members to view the 24/7 live stream. And the Ector County Children's Services Board is once again seeking Christmas sponsors for foster children across Ector County, with the goal of giving each child in their care a joyful holiday season. In the Permian Basin alone, there are over 280 children that are facing these challenges. And while the state provides funds for basic necessities such as clothing, shoes, pajamas, and hygiene products, the emotional and social needs of these children go beyond just those essentials. Beyond providing these services for children in Ector County, the board also extends support to surrounding areas like Andrews, Monahans, Pecos, and Fort Stockton, where foster care resources are often limited.
If they want to go to a camp in the summertime, if they want to play an instrument, if they need braces, if they need helmets, all of those things we will provide. We have a certain budget from the county for clothes and those necessities, and the county is very good to us for that. But these outside things, we don't get reimbursed.
While the holiday season brings a special focus on making foster children's Christmases bright, the Ector County Children's Services Board emphasizes that their greatest and most ongoing need is for foster families, hosts, and supportive parents year-round. They're asking the community to consider stepping up, not just for the holidays, but to make a lasting difference in the lives of these children. And coming up, it's the last week of high school football before playoffs. We're bringing you a look at tonight's games coming up next. It is the last week of the regular season for Friday Night Football, and it's happening right now. Now, the First Alert 7 team is scattered all across the Permian Basin at all of those games. We're going to take a look at our 6A games because those 4 schools are all playing each other right now. The Legacy Rebels are visiting the Odessa Broncos over at Ratliff Stadium. After a tough non-district schedule, the Rebels have been on fire, but the Broncos not so much. They're currently working to get their first district win. If Legacy wins tonight, the Rebels would have a share of the district title, and that would make it 7 years in a row. Over in the Tall City, the Panthers are playing the Bulldogs at Astound Broadband Stadium. Both teams have come into the last regular season game with their playoff spots already secured. But each with a 2-2 record against district opponents, this game decides seeding for the playoffs. There's a lot of similarities with these teams offensively. Both have a running back who broke records this year. Elijah McCoy already owns 4 Midland High records, and Gavin Black owns 1 Permian record. It's tied for another one. Let's take a quick look at the scores of all of those games. You've got our 6A, 1A, 3A, 4A, everything right there for you up on our website. That's firstalert7.com. You can see all of those scores right there or by downloading our app. Again, all on our website and our app, firstalert7.com. Be sure to tune in to the Friday Night Blitz tonight, right after First Alert 7 News at 10, or watch the extended version on our First Alert YouTube.
Some chilly air in our forecast. In fact, the coldest this fall season coming up. We'll talk about it and get you ready for your weekend up next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, cooler air has moved in. In fact, we're going to be downright cold first thing in the morning. It's all because of this big storm system across portions of the central U.S. Now, this has caused a lot of issues. We had some severe storms as close as Abilene, San Angelo last night. That is pushing into portions of north central and northeast Texas. But on the colder side of all this, we've seen a lot of snow, travel issues from western Kansas into Colorado and northern portions of New Mexico. Paso as this system does lift a little bit further off to the north and northeast. And unfortunately, it was that track that took a lot of the rain with it. We're just seeing drier air roll in as we saw most of the showers and thunderstorms today roll across central, northeast portions of the state, and looking at pretty quiet conditions back across West Texas as the drier air starts to roll in. Winds have stayed stirred up a little bit because of this trough of low pressure, but that's going to ease overnight tonight as this whole system pushes further off to the east. And we're going to see some cooler conditions in our forecast as temperatures across the state today. Well, the chilliest stuff was back across West Texas, all the way down to 46 in Amarillo, 54 in Lubbock, and 56 out towards El Paso. Ahead of the front, all the way up to 90 degrees in Corpus Christi this afternoon. Futurecast, not a lot happening thanks to dry air that'll be rolling in across the area. So we're going to be looking at pretty quiet conditions overnight tonight in towards the morning hours on Saturday, and that should continue into the afternoon as we'll see lots of sunshine in the forecast. So looking pretty good for everything you want to do outdoors, and this trend will continue into the Sunday time frame. Maybe a couple of clouds, but overall, though, we're going to be looking at pretty quiet conditions for the rest of the weekend. Again, don't forget we got that freeze warning up across the Davis Mountains into western Culberson County, and also portions of southeast New Mexico. We could see temperatures as low as 32, so take those freeze precautions overnight as we'll see temperatures drop down into the 30s for many locations in West Texas, but some areas touching freezing, if not below it, overnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, we'll be looking for those temperatures into the upper 60s to low 70s, so looking pretty good across the area with southwest winds. Again, a little bit lighter coming up, and looks like we're going to see pretty quiet conditions all the way through your Veterans Day, and that trend looks to continue into next week.
As he gets ready to head back to the White House, President-elect Donald Trump's legal problems are fading into the background. While lawyers are working to wind down those cases, he's working to put his staff in place ahead of inauguration. CBS's Nicole Sekenga. Nicole Sekenga has more details from the White House.
The Department of Justice has taken the first steps to end the criminal cases against President-elect Donald Trump. Special counsel Jack Smith filed a motion to vacate the remaining pretrial deadlines in order to give the government time to assess how to comply with DOJ policy. That policy prohibits prosecuting a sitting president. Judge Tanya Chutkin immediately granted the motion and asked for an update by December 2nd. Trump takes office January 20th. Thursday night, he made his first hire of the new administration.
The Ice Baby. We call her the Ice Baby.
Trump tapped campaign manager Susie Wiles to be his new chief of staff. Sources close to Trump tell CBS News' Robert Costa that Wiles is seen as smart and organized and someone who will not compete with Trump for attention.
Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not in the background.
Trump is also narrowing down his list for Secretary of State. CBS News has learned he's considering Florida Senator Marco Rubio and former Ambassador Richard Grenell. While Fox News reports Senator Bill Hagerty is also on the list, among others. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, the White House.
Wiles becomes the first woman to ever hold the position of White House Chief of Staff. Still ahead, we're taking a last look at your high school football scores after this quick break. All right, before we go, let's take another look at some of our high school football scores. Starting with the 6A, Midland Legacy, they're currently beating Odessa High 54-22. Permian, they're losing to Midland High. That scores 21-18. They're in the fourth quarter there. Skipping down to 4A, Monahan Seminole. That game's at halftime. Seminole seems to be doing pretty well against Monahans, 37-13. Down to our 3A, we got lots of teams in our 3A. Stanton, they're losing 43-0 to Wall at halftime. Skipping down to 2A, Wink. They beat Van Horn 69-0. And of course, can't forget about our 1A teams. Garden City Grady, that score is 40-14. There's tons of scores up on our website or downloading our app, firstalert7.com. And don't forget to tune in tonight to the Friday Night Blitz. Thanks for watching.